Welcome to Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League. We are located at the Utah Motorsport campus, offering a full range of services for race car enthusiasts, including storage, maintenance, and driver coaching. Our focus is on fostering an inclusive and supportive racing community. Sim racing is a great way for our drivers to continue to practice during the on and off season. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the race.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first race of the 6th season of the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League. This first race is at the Virginia International Raceway, but not the normal one, not the one you're probably used to. It's at the Grand Course. So in the Grand Course, there's an extra mile of racing when they go through the infield. So this is going to be a very exciting race. There are a number of drivers that are going to be racing in this particular race. It looks like we're going to have 9 entrants so far for practice. We'll see if anyone else joins for the race. Now, sometimes these fields are 22, 23 people. Sometimes they're 15 or 16, and sometimes they're 8 or 9 like we have today. Now, in this racing series, everybody gets 1 drop. Your lowest race result gets dropped from your total championship points. So the people that are not racing this week are absolutely still in the championship fight. Their back is just going to be against the wall for all of the races for the rest of the season. They can't really afford to have a bad race. So anyone that's racing today is going to be on the front foot. And what's most exciting about this race is that every single driver is tied for the championship lead. Always, the first race of the season is the most exciting because you don't know how it's going to shake out. Obviously, we know that there's a lot of very fast drivers in this field. And, you know, depending on how well they know the track, how well the car is suited for the track, you know, that favors different drivers on different days. So it is genuinely anybody's championship to win. And another thing that's, well, let's just go over the whole series. So this is a series in which everyone is driving in a GT3 car, but it is they have a number of manufacturers that they can choose from. Obviously, we're going to see a lot of Porsches on track because those are very quick. It looks like there's a Lamborghini in the field, but there are also Mercedes. There are BMW M4s. There's Ferraris. So the drivers have choice in which cars they choose to race with. However, this is a fixed race. A fixed setup series, meaning that they don't have the ability to adjust their aerodynamics. They don't have the ability to just adjust their tire pressures, ester, camber, any of that stuff. It's off limits. They get the baseline setup. And that's very interesting because certain cars have certain handling characteristics that are going to give them an advantage on certain tracks. And these drivers are going to have to find ways to drive around that. Now, we had our qualifying session. It was a 15-minute qualifying session, and Jack Liston qualified on pole position with a 2-minute and 24-second screamer of a lap that was a full second ahead of Bryson Liu. Jack Liston has definitely put his time in on this racetrack, and he is going to be the one to beat. However, Bryson Liu is incredibly fast, both in real life. He's actually a driving coach. He's a professional driver, and he's very quick in iRacing. So he is going to be gaining time and learning this track on the fly, which is very exciting because I think he will be able to take the fight to Jack Liston once he starts to get it figured out. Andrew Malin qualified in 3rd, Shane Wilcox in 4th position, Carter in 5th, George is in 6th, Logan Whatcott in 7th position, and then at the back of the field, Lincoln Larson and Ayrton Littell. And they joined qualifying late. They were not able to set a qualifying time. So just because they're on the back of this field of drivers doesn't mean they're slow. It's actually quite the opposite. They're incredibly quick drivers. Ayrton Littell owns a karting team. He's a national level kart racer. Lincoln Larson, also a kart racer. He's currently transitioning over to race cars. So they're all very talented up and down this field. Very, very exciting to see how it's going to play out and how they're going to do at this racetrack that I think a lot of people haven't gotten a lot of practice at. This track is very well known, but with the grand circuit layout, when they go into the infield, I think that's where that's going to differentiate a lot of the lap times out here. Now, this racetrack has Virginia International Raceway has a ton of turns. I know that sounds silly because every racetrack has turns, but this particular track and this particular layout has a lot of energy that's going to be put into those tires, and that does mean that the tires are going to wear down quickly, and tire management is going to be incredibly important in this race. Now, in all of the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League races, you have to make a pit stop. The way that they do that is they limit the amount of fuel that these cars can start with. So if you don't pit, you run out of fuel. And you do have to be strategic about when you take that pit stop. And in this race particularly, that strategy is going to be a place where drivers can either gain ground or lose ground. And again, that's tire wear. And again, these drivers are going to have to be very, very gentle with their equipment, because you can go out there and you can set a screaming lap, but burn your tires off, and then that's going to leave you at a disadvantage later in the race. And as we all know, points only pay for that last lap. It doesn't matter where you are in the race. If there's 22, 23 minutes to go, even 2 laps to go, it's where you finish at the end of the race. So these drivers are going to have to manage their tires. They're going to have to be strategic about when they pit for fuel and for tires, and that will end up having a huge impact on where they finish in this race. Now, they're coming around the corner right now, heading towards Hogpen, which will lead onto the main straight, and then the pace car is going to pull off, and Jack Liston is going to control the pace. The other thing that's very exciting about this racing league is, well, I'm going to cut myself off in a minute because we're about to go green, but this is multi-class racing. Everyone is in the same race car, but there are 3 different classes out on track, and we are about to go green. Jack Liston has control of the field. Green flag racing. Jack Liston gets a great start, but Bryson Liu is hanging around the outside, going into first quarter. Oh, to the horseshoe. They are 3 wide, 2 wide, starting to fan out. Oh no, is that Andrew Malin? We had a spinner. And it looks like he might have collected somebody, but Jack Liston, Bryson Liu, and Shane are able to continue going through NASCAR, running wide, going into left hook, and into the S's. They're going single file. If we can find a replay of that first corner incident, we'll head back to it. There we go. First corner incident. 3 drivers were collected. Try to see what happened here. Looks like potentially a Lamborghini of Carter got into the back of that yellow liveried car. Car 45 has to go wide. It looks like maybe a sympathy spin for the car. I can't see the car number right there. The other yellow livery car. I believe all of these cars are able to continue. Car number 45, Shane, just goes to the back of the field. Yeah, it looks like none of the cars were really damaged to the extent where they have to go to pit lane and make repairs. Like maybe Ayrton. Is that Ayrton? Yep. Ayrton makes a long detour around and then finds his way back on track. So every driver is able to continue, which is good. And I know this sounds silly, but if you're going to be involved in a race incident, you want to do it early in the race, because then you have the most amount of time to make up for that and try to claw your way back into the fight. And right now, there's still 43 minutes, just over 43 minutes left in this race. So obviously, Ayrton and George and Andrew would never want to be involved in an incident, but if you are, this is kind of the right time to do it. Back up front with Bryson Liu and Jack Liston. Jack Liston has already pulled a 1.2 second gap on Bryson Liu, and there's just under a second back to Carter. So the front of this field is starting to get spread out just a little bit, and we'll see if those gaps are going to stabilize. And we're on board right now with Bryson Liu going through the roller coaster, one of the trickier corners on the track because it crests and you lose traction at the exact moment where you need the most traction. So that's a very tricky corner. He handles it obviously very beautifully, going through Hogpen and around onto the main straightaway. This straightaway is the longest straightaway on the track in this configuration, just under 1 kilometer long. And the aerodynamic draft is significant. These race cars, as we're seeing right now with Carter. Is that Lincoln Larson? That's Carter and Lincoln Larson having a great battle. They are nose to tail right now. We're on board right now with Andrew Malin as he cuts his way through the field, going from 7th to 6th position. He's a man on a mission. He was down 3 spots from his start, but is starting to claw his way back. Lincoln Larson was absolutely the benefactor of that first lap incident. He's already in 3rd position. And, oh, Carter went off track. Oh, Carter is able to continue again, but we'll back it up and see what happened there, see if he got any help. And nope, looks like he just lost it, exiting the corner. Ooh. Oh, got very close to collecting another driver. Good evasive driving from the rest of the field. Carter is able to continue, but he is now down in P8 behind, with only Ayrton Littell behind him. Oh, no! Oh, that's a separate incident. Oh, he goes off again. Oh, Carter. And he hit the wall hard enough where he might have done damage to the car. I would imagine there is some damage. We'll see if it's significant enough where he has to come into the pits or if he's able to continue. A rough start for Carter. Down 4 positions in last place. And let's see, Ayrton Littell is also trying to claw his way back. He's got 10 seconds to get back to that lead group. So a lot of drama in the first couple laps. That's expected. This racetrack in particular, Virginia International Raceway, isn't very forgiving. You can see if you leave the track even a little bit, there's not that runoff. There's basically just grass. So if you run a little bit wide at other tracks like COTA, you get away with it. Don't get away with it at Virginia International Raceway. So I think we're seeing some people right now really exploring the grip limits of their car. Also, these tires are not warm. They have to bring them up to temperature at the start of the race. So we could just see people on cold tires, trying to get them up to temperature. And obviously it's a race, so you want to be competitive. And sometimes it's easy to overdrive a car in those beginning laps. And I think that's maybe what we saw there from Carter. We'll see how much ground he can make up now that he's got his legs back under him and he's back on track. Now we're following Shane Wilcox right now in P4. Shane, great driver. He is about 4 seconds back from Lincoln Larson. I got to be honest, Lincoln Larson is having a phenomenal race. And Lincoln and Ayrton didn't participate in practice either. So I don't know how much experience they have on this track. If I had to guess, Lincoln's got a fair amount of experience, judging his pace right now, which is fairly phenomenal. So top 3, Jack Liston, Lincoln Larson, Bryson Liu, and Bryson his pace is actually very quick as well. He just set a 24.8, which is quicker than his qualifying time and quicker than any of his practicing time. So what you're seeing right here is a very talented driver figuring it out on a fly, which is very, very cool. That's a skill set that you only develop by putting in a ton of time in simulator and in real life, which is something that Bryson has done. Very cool to see how much pace he's able to find in just the first couple of laps. Good for him. Now, the weather conditions at this track today are just about as ideal as it gets. The air temperature is a beautiful 66 degrees. There's just a little bit of wind. It's about 12 miles of wind. We're on board right now with Jack Liston as he's going through that infield section. This is one of the tighter sections of the track, and he's just exiting that infield here. You're going to make a left-hand corner, compromise the exit here to set up for the right-hander that brings you up towards the roller coaster. You're going to take all that curb right here and then hard on the brakes. You're going to turn in, and then just as it crests, you start losing that grip. So you want to make sure the car's straight. You want to have most of your turn done here. You're going to go all the way out to the right-hand side, come back to the left over that curb, and then the double apex for hog pen. This is a corner where you don't want to run wide. You want to make sure you get a good rotation mid-corner because that sets you up for this nice, long straightaway. And if you get it right, a lot of time to be gained. And if you get it wrong, potential for you to be a sitting duck. We're on board. We're following Jack Liston, going through the hairpin. Jack Liston is an incredibly quick driver. But he's definitely put his time in at this racetrack. You can just see, him being 0.8 of a second quicker than Bryson Liu is impressive and obviously would never take away from that accomplishment. But I think that's indicative of the amount of time that he's put in at this racetrack. Bryson Liu Jack List and Lincoln Larson. I mean, you can really go down this entire field and say that every single one of these drivers is very fast and has legitimate pace. And as I was saying before, sometimes down to the car, comes down to your knowledge of the track. We're on board right now with Andrew Malin, who is hassling Shane Wilcox, trying to stay in his mirrors, trying to bug him a little bit to hopefully make his way up into fourth position as they make their way up through the S's. This is a really exciting part of the track. You know, you're kind of fingertips here. You're just managing the grip levels, and then have this left-hander that the south bend that's similar to the roller coaster in that it crests at the moment when you need the grip. So that's a tricky corner, but if you get it right, you get a good run down to the oak tree. And this is really exciting. We actually have 3 drivers that are all kind of stacked up right now. Nose to tail. Is that car? Let's see. That's car number, 35. That is Bryson and Shane. Okay. Wow. Good 3-way battle right now. This is good stuff. This is what we want to see in the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League. And, this is really fairly typical of this type of racing. It's very, very competitive. These guys are all good drivers and all really evenly matched. And I love seeing when people blink their headlights at the other drivers, mainly because it's just annoying. That's all they're trying to do. They're just trying to, make the guy drive in his mirrors a little bit. Maybe, he misses a braking point by just a couple of feet. And a lot of times that's enough to screw up a corner and, allow the person behind to jump ahead. So, when you see the flashing headlights, I personally love it. I just think it's antagonistic. In multi-class racing, sometimes it is useful in a situation like this. He's just saying, hey, you know what? I'm here, and I'm gonna pester you, and I'm gonna stay as close as I can. And if you give me an opportunity, I am going to take it. And right here is a great opportunity to make a pass. There he is. That's Morse code, I think, for I am going to pass you soon. Great angle coming up to the horseshoe. Is not able to make the pass done right there. But see what he can get done in the subsequent corners. So one of the the biggest updates in this season's iRacing, all of iRacing, they changed the weather modeling. Past, it was cloudy, there was humidity, it was warm, it was cold, and all those factors changed the way that the tires and the cars interacted with the racetrack. And it's very realistic. Added another fold. This season, they've added rain to their weather model, which might not sound like a big deal, but anyone who's raced or is racing knows that when the track gets wet, it is absolute chaos. Everything gets turned on its head. We're going to go back to Shane right now in car. Oh, he's super close to Bryson Liu. Coming through Oak Tree, down the straightaway. Looks like Bryson Liu got a good exit out of the corner. Isn't losing any ground, but there's a good braking point coming up right now as they go through the right-hand hairpin into the infield. We'll see if he tries to make a move there, and he's got Andrew right behind him. Oh, this is a good battle. Good midfield battle. Only one of these people is going to be stepping on the podium in 33 minutes' time as it stands right now. And as it stands right now, it is Bryson Liu, but Shane Wilcox all over him, and Andrew Malin is all over him. And, with Shane Wilcox being the meat in this sandwich, it's complicated because you have to be aggressive and you have to attack, but you also have to defend. And sometimes if you are too aggressive, if Shane is too aggressive and goes side by side with Bryson in a part of the track where it compromises both of their races, that's a big opportunity for Andrew Malin all the time in racing. There are 2 people in the front. They start dusting it up. They have their little Donnybrook, and it's actually the person behind that ends up in the lead of that pack. So we'll keep an eye on that, see if that's what happened. Just punch the microphone. Okay, but we're still working, so we're good. This is worth noting when I broadcast. Not that I've done this a ton, but I use my hands so much. So I apologize if you hear things banging around, like my microphone. And, contact. Oh, what happened to Andrew? Oh, something happened at the exit of the first turn, and that allowed that. Who went through? Andrew and Shane went through on Bryson. So Bryson was compromised going down out of the hog pen. and that allowed Andrew and Shane to pass through. So now Andrew is in the 3rd spot, and he is, let's see, about, I think, 6 seconds back from Lincoln Larson. So, wow, this battle for the last step on the podium is phenomenal. We're not even 15 minutes into the race, and this is really, really exciting stuff. We'll see if Shane can make a move on Andrew right now, if Bryson's able to come back and fight his way back through the field. All 3 of these drivers are incredibly talented, but they're also incredibly respectful. They'll lean on each other. Obviously, there's going to be some hip and shoulder. They'll door each other a little bit, but none of these people are going to be overly aggressive. That's just really not in their constitution. That's not the way that they race. And I think a lot of that is because they have real-world experience. And when you're racing in the real world, there are real-world consequences. Crashing a car. There's safety concerns. Obviously, someone's got to pay for that damage, and that's not the case in iRacing. But I think when the people are racing in iRacing who have that real-world experience, they take a little more self-preservation into the race. They're a little bit more respectful, and I think that's what we're seeing play out right here. Now, within the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League, there are 3 classes, and you can see up on the screen, there's pros, there's pro-am, and then there's the amateurs. And the way that that's established is based on last year's results. And something that's very exciting is that they do relegations in this league. So if you're a pro driver and a pro-am driver finishes above you in the net standings, then you get relegated down to pro-am, and that pro-am gets promoted up to the class above. So we did have some shuffling around from Season 5 to Season 6. Lincoln Larson is coming into the pits early. Lincoln Larson is in the pits. You do have to make a mandatory pit stop. He's coming in right now to get a fresh set of tires, and he's going to fuel up. He is the first driver to pit under green flag conditions. Carter pitted as well, but he was in the back of the pack. I think that might have been more for damage than anything else. That was a 51-second pit stop, which is a longer pit stop. Lincoln Larson is the first driver to pit under green flag conditions. We'll see if the undercut is strong in this race. There's still 29 minutes left. So this is a big strategy move, and we'll see how it pans out. Again, Lincoln Larson has a lot of pace, talented young driver. Very curious to see what is going to happen with the undercut. And oh no, Bryson Liu. Spinner, chicken dinner. Bryson Liu looks like he just runs a little bit wide, gets into the dirty part of the track, loses grip, spins, and luckily doesn't make contact. There's a lot of runoff around Virginia International Raceway at a lot of the parts of the track, but that runoff is all grass. So Bryson Liu is he's not going to lose another spot. That's the good news, but it definitely takes him out of that battle for the podium steps for now. But again, he's a wicked fast driver. So once he gets his feet back under him, we will see if he can make his way back up to that lead group. On board right now with Shane Wilcox going down the infield part of the track. This is a really tricky part because it's a fine corner that also crests going down into the spiral. This is one of the sections where if you're rowdy, you're going to eat a bunch of your tires. If you're careful, you can preserve them. Going up a little uphill section and going through another blind set of chicanes. That's very fingertip driving there. You just sort of have to be very careful. It's all based on feel. And then they're going to head up towards the roller coaster one more time. Shane Wilcox started in P4, currently sitting in P3 into that beautiful Porsche 992 with the Riot Motorsport livery. A lot of the people in this race are sporting the Riot Motorsport livery. Obviously, it's very popular because it's the Riot Motorsport League in sim racing, but also Riot Motorsport is a real motorsports team based in Utah at the Utah Motorsports campus. And a lot of these people that are driving the field are also involved in that racing. Bryson Liu specifically is one of the driver coaches, and incredibly talented kid. He's from California. Started in karting, made his way up to race cars. He's raced in Super Trofeo. I believe he won that champion a couple of years ago, and now he's a part of the Riot Motorsports team. A ton of talent all up and down the field, whether it's someone who is just getting into racing, or someone like Bryson who's making a legitimate career out of it. On board right now with Carter, he is the only non-Porsche in the field, and I'm going to go ahead and say that he has one of the better liveries that I've seen. I love a colorful livery. I think it looks great. I love the understated matte black stuff as well. But something nice and flashy with some pastels and some neon colors. It's always exciting. Nothing wrong with that. And it looks like that Lamborghini actually has some teeth on it, which I love anthropomorphized cars like AO Motorsports. They have Rexy and Roxy, and I think Spike is the name of the dragon, but their liveries are phenomenal. There's Sparkle Farts, which is another amazing racing team that runs a unicorn themed race car in sports cars. So if you have Iron and you need a t-shirt, you should go buy a Sparkle Farts t-shirt, but only after you buy a Riot Motorsports. Jack Liston up at the front is absolutely walking away from this race. He has a 25.6 second lead, and his fast lap so far is a 2 minute 24.0. He's currently running mid 25s, so he's in conservation mode right now. There's still 25 minutes left in the race. We're not even at the halfway. He's in control of the race. He has the luxury of being able to manage his tires and manage his mobiles. So I would imagine that this is going to be a very, very tall task for anyone to try to take away from Jack Liston. And we are at a full going yellow, full course yellow. All right, we're doing a safety car, and I don't know, is this a competition caution or an issue on track? Okay, got it. So it looks like there's no issue on track, but one of the things about the Riot Motorsport League is not only is there a chance for rain, which I'll circle back to, but also there are yellow flags. There are random yellows that can come out. It doesn't happen every race, doesn't happen all the time, but it's just a way to kind of wrench in the works. And that's something that happens in real life racing. Yellow flags happen. You don't have it in sim racing because you can just reset the car, go back to pit. You don't have the the safety team that comes out. You don't have the medical team that checks on the driver. There's nothing process. So in order to make this sim racing league as close to reality as possible, they will throw yellow flags. And I don't know if everyone. Let's see. So Ayrton looks like he's back on track, but he's a number of laps down. Lincoln's 2 laps down right now. I don't know if he's racing around. I don't know that he'll be able to get a wave through. Typically, wave throughs, I think, are lap down. Everyone else is still on the lead lap, and that will road Jack Liston's interval, his lead back, which is very exciting. Jack Liston is the fastest driver on track right now. He has the fastest lap. However, Bryson Liu is figuring it out on the fly. He's 2/10 behind as far as lap times, and he's currently sitting in P4. Shane Wilcox also is showing a lot of pace, as well as Andrew Malin. So with all of them learning on the fly and the field bunching back together, this is going to be very, very not chaotic. It'll be exciting. Hopefully it's not chaotic. Again, these are very respectful drivers, but it's going to bunch the field back together. And when we go racing again, every single person will have a chance to move up in the order, except for one person. Fastest person on track, Jack Liston. So this will be really, really fun stuff. Now, as I was touching on before, the weather modeling has been updated in iRacing. And if it starts to rain on the racetrack, everything, the parts of the track that are typically fast, be very slippery. And the strategy of when to change from the racing slicks to rain tires, or if it's drying out from the rain tires back to the racing slicks, is massive. The delta between someone on the right set of tires and the wrong set of tires is massive. In racing, if you're a half a second off of another driver, that's a big margin. But in the rain, if someone's on the wrong set of tires, the delta isn't a half a second. It's not even seconds. Sometimes it's tens of seconds. So in the rain, the drivers have to decide when is that perfect moment to either switch from the racing slicks to the wet tires, or from the wet tires back to the racing slicks. If you get it wrong, you are in a world of hurt. It is so painful and so difficult to drive around a racetrack on racing slicks in the rain. Imagine trying to do an obstacle course like on an ice skating rink, holding 2 trays of China while there's herds of buffaloes running around you. That's generally the feeling that you get when you're trying to handle the car on racing in the rain. But if you're on rain tires, it's a lot easier to find that grip. So sometime this season, if I was a betting man, I would say we're going to have rain in the race. Number of drivers now coming down to pit lane, including the leader, Jack Liston, Andrew Malin, Shane Wilcox. Just about every driver is coming down to pit lane to get more fuel, change their tires. When you pit under caution, you are definitely, you gain an advantage because the cars on track are going slower, which means that delta for the amount of time that you spend in pit lane is less. Now, I believe just about everyone is pitted, so it will be sort of a net neutral for everyone. The driver order shouldn't be mixed up too much. So, did Andrew Malin stay out? So Andrew Malin exited the pit lane. I'm not sure if he will stay in that position or if we'll have to give it back. We'll have to see what happens. We're just over halfway in the race. There's 20 minutes, 27 seconds left in the first race of Season 6 of the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League. Currently under our caution lap. All the cars, looks like every car has pitted. They're all making their way back out. They'll file in back behind the safety car, which is driven by a gentleman with Oakley wraparounds. It kind of looks a little bit like the bassist of U2. Good to see that he's found a second career, the bassist of U2, as a sim racing safety car driver. So looking now at pit stop times, which you guys have, Jack Liston was in pit lane for 1 minute. I can't imagine he know what was going on there. Yeah, he could have potentially gotten 4 new tires. And I don't believe we have access to whether people chose to get just 2 tires or 4. And that is an option in this league. You can either get the 2 outside tires, or you can change all 4. But if you do decide to change all 4 tires, then you spend more time in. So I wonder if that's what Jack did. And that's an interesting position because he's going to have to start from the back of the field. And I think that speaks to his confidence as a driver around Virginia International Raceway. He is gambling that he can be fast enough on 4 sticker tires with 18 minutes, just over 18 minutes left in this race, to make his way through the entire field. Again, it's similar to what we just saw at the Thermal Club in IndyCar in the $1 Million Shootout. Colton Herta decided to preserve his tires in the beginning part of the race and was dead last and his way through the field up to a 4th place finish. Obviously not the exact same scenario, but I think Jack Liston here, he's betting on himself. It's going to be really, really fun to watch him slice his way through the field. He's going to have to be punchy for the next 18 minutes if he wants to get it done. And he's going to find himself in the trenches with a half a dozen, 8 other drivers that are all wildly talented and know how to defend very well. So this is actually shaping up to be a very exciting second part of this race. Now, the sim racing, season 5, there were championships that were handed out, and in the pro class, the champion was Michael Shumway. Michael Shumway is not racing this evening, but he has a very, very good reason why. He is actually the person right now behind the curtain. He's the Wizard of Oz. He's the puppet master. He's doing all of the production stuff. He's doing all of the race officiating. So thank you very much, Michael Shumway. Not only on behalf of me, but on behalf of every driver, because I guarantee that every driver on track right now is thankful Michael Shumway is not racing because he is wildly fast. He won the pro championship last here. Second place was Andrew Malin, and third place was Joey. Joey is not racing tonight. And then the top finishers in the Pro-Am class were Shane, Ollie, and Kelly. And then in the amateur class, it was Alex, Ayrton, and Bruce. Now, again, I said earlier, if someone in a pro class finishes behind someone in a Pro-Am class, then they get relegated down. And there were some drivers that got promoted, and there were some drivers that got relegated last season. So Paolo, who was an amateur last year, which is kind of laughable given his pace, he got promoted all the way to pro. So he's going to be racing in pro this year. Carter also got promoted to pro from Pro-Am, as did George. So congratulations to those three drivers. You now have a much more difficult time winning races in the pro class. Let's see, who else got promoted? Just going down my little list here. Andy, he got promoted. Bruce got promoted. Jay got promoted. And it looks like Ayrton got demoted. Lincoln got demoted. And it's not because of their performance. Not everyone does every race here. Ayrton and Lincoln are both very, very busy. Ayrton runs his own karting team. And if you ever go out to the Utah Motorsports campus and you check out the Scuderia Littell garage, it is at a phenomenally high level. It is comparable to anything that you'd see at a pro karting race. He does a phenomenal job. He has factory support from GFC, which is an American karting company that makes incredibly quick parts. And he's got a full roster of drivers, everywhere from beginners, people that have literally never driven a kart before, walk in and he gets them set up and he offers them coaching at a level that is higher than I think you get it at just about any other track in the United States. But he also has professional drivers. He's got very high-level people, and he himself is a very high-level driver. He's won, I think, the Spec Z series in the NASA championships. He's competed on the national level in shifter karts. That's, he's just wicked, wicked fast, and he's surrounded by other people that are wicked, wicked fast, including Lincoln Larson, who also got demoted last year. He got relegated down to the amateur class, but that was because he didn't do all the races. But he's another person that is a very talented driver. He's been karting for a number of years. He's very quick, and he, I believe, is just starting this year, maybe next season, to get into car racing, into road racing. I think he's going to start in the MX-5, the Spec Miata class, which anyone that knows me knows that if I get started talking about MX-5 racing, it's very hard to get me to shut up, because I genuinely believe that it is some of the most entertaining racing on the planet. If anyone has never watched the Wayland Mazda MX-5 Cup, it's the highest level of racing in the Mazda MX-5. It is phenomenal. The field is 25, 30 cars deep. The talent pool is phenomenal. There's a number of drivers that have gone from MX-5 Spec Miata racing into the higher ranks of motorsports. Connor Zilic is, I think, the best example. Connor Zilic is one of the most talented drivers in American racing right now. Karting over in Europe. He actually won the FIA Academy Award, which is an award that was won by Charles Leclerc just a few years prior to him. And he went over and raced in that Wayland Mazda MX-5 Cup. And as a rookie, he took the championship. He then moved into IMSA racing. And in his first go at the 24 Hours of Rolex in the LMP2 class, he won the 24 Hours of Daytona. The kid's not even 18. Raced last weekend in the NASCAR, the Truck Series, qualified on pole. And that's the level of driver that comes through MX-5 Cup racing, not only the big Wayland Mazda MX-5 Cup, but Spec Miata. Spec Miata is incredibly grassroots at its core. It is one of the foundations of road racing. And a lot of the people, not only that belong to the Riot Motorsport family, but across the entire country, start in Mazda MX-5 Miatas. So Lincoln Larson is going to start taking that journey. And speaking of taking that journey, the pace car is taking a journey down pit road, which means we are going to go green with 12 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first race of the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing Series. And Andrew Malin gets a great jump They're all behaving themselves through Horseshoe, which is great. Quite the contrast from lap 1, turn 1. And let's see. Andrew Malin is already pulling a half a second gap. He is followed by Shane Wilcox. Bryson Lewis found his way back up to 3rd. Jack Liston already back up to 6th position. We're definitely going to keep an eye on Jack Liston, and he's already hassling Carter. So this could be very, very exciting stuff in the closing stages of the race. Everybody is done making their pit stop. They've all got whatever tire choices they have made, whether it's 2 tires or 4. And now it's just an 11-minute and 44-second shootout to the checkered flag. We're on board right now with Carter heading through the S's, up and over the left-hander at crests, heads down towards Oak Tree. And is Jack going to make a move? No, he's not. Let's see if he's going to switch back. Carter stays to the inside, gets a nice exit from Oak Tree, heading down Madison Avenue. Jack Liston is hassling him, but George is right behind Jack right now. So with the field bunched up, this is very interesting stuff. There's a braking zone coming up right here. Hard right-hand chicane. You got to be very patient around this corner. This corner tightens on you. It's a decreasing radius corner, so it's easy to get that one wrong, but these 3 drivers all do it perfectly, heading down towards the spiral. Hard braking zone, up and over the crest, down into the spiral. This is a single file part of the racetrack. It is very difficult to make a pass here. So right now, what they're doing is they're just lining up that next passing opportunity, which may come after this next couple series of corners coming through the roller coaster. We'll see if anyone wants to get racy in the roller coaster. Now, a lot of these people are going to be on cold tires, so they aren't going to have optimal grip for maybe another lap or 2. And everyone is well-behaved. Okay. Single file. Love to see that. Love to see well-behaved racing drivers. There's still 10 minutes left in the race. And there is Jack Liston making a move around Carter. That was a big boy move for sure. Coming into Hogpen, gets it done before the exit of Hogpen, heading down the main straightaway. And now George is pestering Carter. George is going to move to the outside. Carter goes defensive, heavy on the brakes. There is room to go outside here, but there is not the same grip levels. He is going to have to concede the corner to Carter. Is he going to try to make a switchback? No, he's not. He's going to fall in line. There are passing opportunities, not only through NASCAR, but also diving into left hooks. We're going through NASCAR right now. Is George going to try to dive? No, he's not. He's staying rank and file behind Carter. This is awesome, awesome racing. Here's the lead group, the lead pack, top 3 drivers heading through the snake, down the straightaway, towards the S's. Oh, this is great. This is why I love racing. This is exactly what's exciting about racing. There's less than 10 minutes left in the race. There's less than 2 seconds between basically any car on track, and someone is going to make a move. Someone is going to find themselves benefactor of a good situation, and someone is going to be a victim of a situation. We're going to have to see who that is. Jack Liston got all 4 tires when everyone came into the pits, took a longer pit stop to start from the back of the drivers on the lead lap, and has found his way up to 4th position and is looking very racy. He's already closing the gap to that top 3. Top 3 are separated, all of them, by just barely a second or less. There's 0.3 of a second right now between Shane and Bryson Liu. Bryson Liu is pestering Shane right now, and he is on the wheel. The gloves are absolutely off. For Bryson Liu, the gloves are absolutely off. For Jack Liston, going through the infield, heading up towards the roller coaster. Oh, this is great, great stuff. Any mechanical sympathy that they had in the beginning of the race to try to save tires, totally out the window. 7 minutes, 55 seconds left. Their tires are up to temperature, and they are feeling very, very racy. Every single driver on the planet that is a true racing driver wants to stand on the podium. The difference between 4th and 3rd is a chasm apart. And right now, Bryson Liu is taking a look down the inside on Shane. Going to have the inside hard on the brakes. Is going to make the pass happen through the horseshoe. Is Shane going to be able to switch back? He is not. And what's very important about that pass is that Bryson Liu made it happen quickly. Didn't get involved in a big tussle with Shane, and that allowed him to pull away from Jack Liston. Jack Liston could have very easily taken advantage of some side-by-side action. Obviously, side-by-side action is exciting for us at home, but it's the last thing that Bryson or Shane want to do right now, because all that would do is open the door for the driver who has the fastest lap of the race. Jack Liston currently sitting in P4. Now, I'm taking a look at the last laps, and man, Jack Liston is absolutely flying. He put in a 24.1, which is only a tenth off of his fastest lap of the race, and only 0.2 off of his qualifying lap. So he is looking real good right now. Andrew Malin is benefiting from the battle as well. Andrew Malin has he has clean air, and he's got a little bit of a gap. He's got a 1 second gap. So Andrew Malin is absolutely in a great position right now. And if Bryson, Shane, and Jack start mixing it up, all that is going to do is allow Andrew Malin a little bit more breathing room in the closing stages of this race. 6 minutes left. We're going to have 3, maybe 4 laps total before the top 3 places are decided and the first race is in the books. And to be completely honest, I genuinely have no idea what that top order is going to be. Andrew Malin just pulled out another 0.3 on Bryson Liu. Jack Liston is all over the back of Shane Wilcox. This is phenomenal. Shane Wilcox is defending. He's making that Porsche 992 as wide as it can possibly get. And as of now, Jack is forced to sit behind him and wait for his opportunity. And there's a big opportunity coming up right now as they go around the hog pen, exit onto the main straightaway. Jack Liston is in the draft. I would imagine Shane is going to stay to the right side of the track, go defensive, forcing Jack to go around the outside. Oh, Jack pulls a dummy move. Jack has the inside line. He's braking hard, and he is going to get the pass on Shane hanging around on the outside. Not going to be able to hang around. So Jack Liston in to the podium spots. He's right now on the bottom step of the podium with the fastest lap and with a 1.5 second gap to that next step up. And that's Bryson Liu. And Bryson Liu is closing that gap to Andrew Malin. There's only 0.7 separating Bryson Liu from Andrew Malin, and that gap is closing every single corner, as that gap from Jack Liston to Bryson Liu is also closing every single corner. This is shaping up to be a spectacular finish to the first race of the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League, season number 6. Bryson Liu taking a wide line, trying to get as big of an exit down Madison Avenue. Doesn't look like he's really close enough to take advantage of the draft. Andrew got a great exit out of that corner, heading down into the infield where it is very hard to make a pass. And when you're driving defensively, there are parts of the track where you can just drive on a traditional racing line, and this is one of those parts of the track because it's hard to make a pass. Not a lot of room, and there's really nowhere to go. But you can pick certain corners where you prioritize your exit speed. And if you do that, then you can be faster than a driver that's faster than you. And I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but if you're only quick in the areas where it's easy to pass, then you don't have to worry about the rest of the track. And I think that's kind of the mode that Andrew's in right now. He knows where he has to be defensive, knows where he has to get good drive out of the corner, make sure that he can maintain a little bit of a gap. And right now we're seeing Jack Liston. Speaking of maintaining gaps, Bryson Liu has Jack Liston all over his mirrors right now, pestering him as Bryson is pestering Andrew Malin. So this is an amazing 3-way battle for the win with 2 minutes and 45 seconds, less than 2 minutes and 45 seconds left. I think we're going to get this lap and then one more lap after that. And Andrew goes defensive. Bryson takes a traditional line. Jack Liston follows behind. So it's right now Bryson Liu is the meat in the sandwich. And that's not a good place to be. You have to drive in your mirrors and you have to drive in front of you. And Bryson Lou's going to take a look, going down into left hook, takes a look, thinks better of it, and most importantly, doesn't spin Andrew Malin. Again, these drivers are so talented and so respectful of one another. We see him going through the snake right now. Oh, there we go. I was just going to say, I'm surprised I'm not seeing lights flashing. And Jack Liston, right on cue, starts flashing the lights, the international sign of hey, buddy, why don't you get out of my way? It's inevitable. Just move over. We don't need to make a fight out of it. And of course, Bryson Lou is thinking, all right, buddy, you can just relax. So that is the narration that I'm sure is going on right now in their cars. Oh no! Oh, Andrew Malin runs wide. Oh, he runs wide coming out of the oak tree. Oh, that is massive. That is massive. He just threw away the lead on the simplest of mistake. He had been running such a clean race right up until that moment. And that hands the lead over to Bryson Lou. But Andrew actually lost a lot less time than I expected. So he's still in the fight. He just got shuffled to the back. And did Jack Liston just position? Where did Bryson go on track? Oh no, Bryson's out. What happened to Bryson? Did he? Oh no. Oh, unfortunate for Bryson. 2 unforced errors from the top 3 in the closing stages of the race. Bryson cooks it just a little bit too long going into that corner. He loops it around, concedes 3rd place to Shane Wilcox. He is now at the back of the field. So Jack Liston, who really had a sense of inevitability going into this race, he was so fast in practice, qualified on pole. He has the fastest lap. He pulled a huge 25-second gap on the field before there was that caution, and that caution allowed the field to bunch back up, and we were all treated to a phenomenal battle for the win, for the top 3 spots. We have our last lap right now. White flag is out. Jack Liston in the lead by nearly a second. Shane Wilcox in 3rd place, and Andrew Malin meeting that sandwich. But unfortunately, we'll see what the gaps are. I don't think anyone is going to be close enough right now to be able to make that last second dive. Oh my God. Such an amazing last few laps. That competition caution, or the caution was, that made the closing stages of this racing about as exciting as you'll get anywhere else. And Jack Liston is going to be thrilled. He took 4 tires under the caution, took a longer pit stop, started from the back of the field, and has made his way back in 1st position for his last time coming around Oak Tree onto Madison Avenue. Andrew Malin in chase, Shane Wilcox behind him. Not quite a victory lap. He still has to be very precise. There's only 1.3 seconds separating him from Andrew Malin, and any small mistake, Andrew Malin will be more than happy to take advantage of. Heading down into the infield section, down to all the twisty little bits of the racetrack. We're following right now Shane Wilcox. He goes down the spiral. And I don't think that lead, Jack Liston is continuing to stretch that lead out just a little bit, about 1.8 seconds. We're heading down the order now. Carter is going to have a 4th place position. He's going to be very happy with that. George, who we haven't talked about that much this race, is coming away with a 5th place position with a great livery as well. He's got the Flying Lizard, the classic Flying Lizard livery. Love that. George has had a good race for himself. He's starting off the season with a 5th place finish, but also the highest finishing amateur. So he is going to be leading the amateur category just barely 5 points ahead of Logan Whatcott, who's also an amateur. But Jack Liston coming down the straightaway for the last time, takes the checkered flag, takes an early lead in Season 6 of the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League. Andrew Malin coming in 2nd, and Carter coming in 3rd in the Pro class, in the only Lamborghini in the field. The Pro-Am class, victory goes to Shane Wilcox. Congratulations, Shane. And then down at the bottom of the field, unfortunately, Bryson Lou, who had all the pace to make a podium happen, costly mistake in the closing stages relegates him down to P7. Lincoln Larson and Ayrton Littell, wicked fast drivers, are both going to finish multiple laps down. So they will be looking to avenge a rough start to the season in the next race. But all kudos go to Jack Liston, winner of the Pro class, Shane Wilcox, winner of the Pro-Am class, George Mendez, winner of the Amateur class. What an exciting race. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching the race, the first race of Season 6 of the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League. The next race next week, I'm going to have to look this up because I don't know it offhand, but I'm sure amazing. This was good stuff. I am honored and excited to be able to be a part of this and to watch these races. Thank you very much to everyone, all the drivers, and particularly to Michael Shumway, who'd normally be racing in this, but stepped up to do producing duty. Miller, who normally does that, was unavailable today. Miller does a phenomenal job. He also hopefully will be able to get in and do a couple of races this year. So looking forward to an exciting season number 6 of the Riot Motorsport Sim Racing Series. Thank you all very much. We'll see you all next week.
Welcome to Riot Motorsport Sim Racing League. We are located at the Utah Motorsport campus, offering a full range of services for race car enthusiasts, including storage, maintenance, and driver coaching. Our focus is on fostering an inclusive and supportive racing community. Sim racing is a great way for our drivers to continue to practice during the on and off season. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the race.